So at this time, we'll now do a Q&A with our speakers. Please welcome back Sarah and Mamer. We will, please use the hashtag IFBG18 on Twitter to ask any questions that you may have for the speakers. Before we begin the questions, we have a few quick announcements. First, although Paying Hartman had to cancel, we will have two other video game designers to talk to you about their work this afternoon. Stop by room 3024 to meet John Meister and Bill Adams. Second, please don't forget to visit the Black History Month art exhibit at the Intercultural Student Engagement Center on the second floor of DSU. After 12:30, artists will be on hand to talk about their work. After the Q&A, we will have a break, and we'll begin again at 10:35. So please remember, no food or drinks are allowed in the auditorium. To start off with our questions, I actually have a few questions. What made you pick your idea or your concept to say for your business? What sparked that passion for you?
For me, got my microphone. For me, I have always grown up dancing, and I love kids. So it was really just the pairing of doing what I loved and realizing that my passion could make money.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Bill, in that I played lacrosse in middle school, high school, and college. So for me, as an athlete and as a lacrosse player, traveling and going to different teams and playing, I saw the disconnect, and I had that passion for the game, and I wanted to improve myself. But in doing so, I found something that was like, okay, I can actually make this better for everybody. And you have to use that passion to put it together with what you want to achieve.
So these are things that you've done all your life.
Yes.
You never felt that you didn't have to change in order to be successful. You followed what you truly loved from a very young age.
I would say yes. I'd say I definitely had to change.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, for the better, I'd like to think. But you have to find ways to make those key adjustments and pivot when you need to be successful.
Hello?
Exactly.
Oh.
Hey.
Hello, can you hear us here?
I can hear.
Oh.
Nice to meet you. So I
Nice
just
to meet
finished
you.
asking the first speakers what made them pick their big idea or their concept to say for their businesses. So for you, what sparked your passion for chocolates and for the culinary industry?
I think the first thing, honestly, when I thought about it, I was like, well, wouldn't it be cool to be a chocolatier? How many chocolatiers do I know? So honestly, it just kind of started out like that. And then from there, it's really looked at the industry and, like I said, mango chocolate. It's a mango chocolate. And I felt like I could do something much cooler. So it really just gives me the opportunity to kind of merge all the things that I love, art, business, and particularly people. So that's what inspires me. That's what drives me. The side of it is very intriguing. It doesn't hurt that it's a multi-billion-dollar industry that's continuing to grow. So that part of it is there too.
Thank you. And for my second question, I was wondering what kind of obstacles did you have to overcome to achieve your success, and how did you do it?
For me, I knew a lot about dance and kids. I didn't know anything about business, and we were talking backstage that, can I share that?
Oh, yeah.
We were terrible students, like terrible. And so, learning the accounting, learning how to set up a business, learning how to manage people, all the things that you're called to do as a business owner and an entrepreneur, we had to learn. So you heard the phrase, fake it till you make it.
Yep.
That's what we do as entrepreneurs.
I would say, to build on that, Google became my best friend. You had to find out things your own way and learn things, and sometimes there wasn't an answer, but you had to find an approach that would work for you.
And for you, Philip?
Well, my first obstacle was to overcome not knowing how to make chocolate. So, but but no. So again, like I said, I spent 3 years literally teaching myself how to make chocolate and become a tier. So that was my main mastering the craft. I spent 10 years in business. So that doesn't mean that challenges aren't still present. It just helps me mitigate and navigate them more effectively in some cases. I've still made failures and I'm still learning because working for, owning your own business, being an entrepreneur is vastly different than working for a major corporation. So there are some of the same skill sets and apply. But, and now we're evolving again, so it's constantly, challenges are ever present. So primary.
That's awesome. Thank you guys for those very thoughtful responses. At this time, we will open the floor up to answer some questions that you guys actually asked us on Twitter. And I will hand it over to you.
Can you hear me out there? All right. Hey, everyone. My name is Josh. I'm on the planning committee for IdeaFestival Bowling Green. Keep sending in those questions via the hashtag on Twitter, IFBG18. And we're going to start with one from Bray Jacobs. Ask, what's the coolest place you have traveled with your job? So this is a question for all three of you.
Is that you? No.
Oh, she's hiding.
Don't be embarrassed.
The coolest place I've traveled. Oh man, that's a tough one. I went to Montreal recently. That was a beautiful city.
Do they know where you're from?
Oh, no, so that's a good point. I'm actually from Bosnia, so when I'm thinking about coolest place I've traveled, I've been back to Bosnia to travel and visit family and talk
Look, you
about
have
the
a
business.
fan up there.
Yeah, so I don't know, I've traveled a pretty good amount of places. I don't know what I would say the coolest though.
The cool. I'm not very cool.
You guys are making me question myself now. Man.
The Bahamas. I
there
took
you
some
go.
dance teachers there, and we worked in the Bahamas. That was fun.
All right, Philip, what about you?
Probably the coolest place was going to see the cow farms in Grenada.
Very cool. Awesome. All right, keep sending in those questions. This next one is for Sarah, and they said, Sarah, since you're a dancer, can you show us a few moves?
She's calling you out.
Oh my gosh! Only if you'll dance with me.
Where's Sarah?
Where is at Laughter Nora? That was coming in from her.
Okay, let me tell you something. I have written 4 music CDs, and my last one was called On Top of the World, and it was submitted to be nominated for a Grammy, which was super fun. So there's a song. You guys all want to stand up real quick for me?
Let's do it.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody up.
I'll get in on this.
I mean, you asked the question. I'm just delivering the answer. All right, so here we go. Are you ready? We're going to start the lawnmower like this. Start the lawnmower and then pull the weeds. Got it? Here we go. Start the lawnmower and pull the weeds. There you go. There's a dance move for you.
Thank you, Sarah,
Did you hurt your back?
for teaching us how to lawnmower and pull the weeds.
Yeah. That's called the lawnmower.
All right, this question is for Philip. This comes in from Ashton Bell. Philip, what was the first original chocolate flavor that you made that you started selling commercially?
That's a good question. The very first chocolate that I made was called Mama Jean, and it was named after my grandmother. It's a sweet potato chocolate. So that was the very first in the line of what we began doing with like barbecue and stuff. But it was a sweet potato, which we still make now.
Very good. This next question comes in from Hannah Britt, and it is for all three of you. Did you have any people who discouraged you on your journey? Mama, we'll start with you.
All the time, 24/7. When you have an idea, whether that's starting your business or coming up with a product, you will encounter people that tell you, hey, this either doesn't make sense or won't work. And I say use that to your benefit. Find out why and then have an answer for that. Because if you can overcome those objectives, then you can automatically solve, well, this is why you can't think I do it, but let me tell you why I can. So you have to take everything with a grain of salt and use that to better yourself and your business, and don't let that discourage you.
I have as well had people discourage me. But like I was telling you earlier, when you have insane passion for what you're doing, it's like you're a freight train going so fast. And unless you're jumping on the train with me, then I'm going to pass you up. And so I really try to pass by people that are really negative. Now, I keep people in my life that challenge me in the fact of questioning, do you think this is the right way? I think that's always good to have sounding boards. But as far as complete negativity, I say get rid of it.
The haters.
All right, Philip, what about you?
And say the question one more time.
Were there people on your journey who discouraged you?
No, not so much that. It's just, surprisingly, when I left my job, the first people you think of are your parents. Will they trip or will they, but they were very supportive. They actually work for me now. So, fortunate, but there, you kind of get people wondering about, well, why are you charging this much for chocolate and that sort of thing. And along the way, you have to just justify, what it is that you're doing, and I think the excellence of the product began to speak for itself. So more of ours is just getting the awareness out.
All right, Philip, we're getting this question a lot, so I'm going to ask it. What is the weirdest chocolate flavor you have made?
We've made several weird ones, but probably one of the ones that didn't work so well in the beginning was beer hops and popping chocolate.
Can you say that again one more time, Philip?
It was a beer hops and bee pollen chocolate.
Oh,
that was probably
beer hops and bee pollen.
Yes.
That is very odd. So there you go, for everyone that was asking about the weird chocolate flavors. Kind of piggybacking off that last question, was there a point in your career where you wanted to give up but decided to keep going? Did you have a moment like that so far in your career?
Yeah, I have. That happens to all of us. If there's some parents in the room, I know, some teachers. I started my business when I was 19 years old, and everything was smooth sailing until I had children. And then all of a sudden it became a juggling game for me. And I remember one day being like, I cannot do it all. But what I've learned is you just have to prioritize what's most important. And some things have been kicked to the curb because they were less important. So for me, when I felt discouraged, I had to reevaluate and prioritize and realize if my business was still one of the top things, which thankfully it was.
And I definitely agree with that. And to build on it, I think part of the time when I would feel discouraged, what I think is important is to always go back as to why you are doing it. Because as Sarah mentioned before, you have that passion. As entrepreneurs, we know why we want to do something, and we wholeheartedly believe that we can do it. So whenever I would feel discouraged and whenever I felt like I shouldn't do this anymore, I would have to think back to, okay, why am I doing this? Why do I think I can do it, and how am I going to get there?
Philip?
All the time. Just because, at every level, there's a new plateau, there's a new challenge. Some days, when you're in the studio at 3:00 in the morning and finishing a project, you're like, man, what am I doing? And then finish the project and you see the chocolate, you see the results, and it's just affirmation of how you're doing what you're doing. But I always try to tell people who, particularly that are going into some form of entrepreneurship, that it's not cakes and canes all the time. So, long nights, sleepless nights, and particularly when you start hiring employees, that's a whole other level. So, you just have to have mental fortitude and honestly, support system, and be able to sometimes turn it off. So, my thing is, Monday, I go to the movies, and I just turn everything off and, for 2-3 hours, just check out. So so find balance, in your happy space, so to speak. Something else I do is I make custom knives for chefs. That's just in my garage, forging. We have to get away. I mean, yesterday I'm like, man, are we going to hit our numbers? So there's always something to kind of create discouragement. Just really have to be strong and pushing.
Yeah. This question comes in from Miss Hargett Slack. She asked for the entire group. Shout out Miss Hargett Slack. She asked, who are your heroes?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Are you ready? What every parent probably wants to hear is my parents, absolutely. Because when I was 19 and told them I actually wanted to quit college, which I didn't, which was a smart move on their part, but they supported me when nobody else really thought it was a good idea. Back when I was telling you my talk, people are like, you're gonna be a dance teacher when you're older. And my parents understood where I wanted to go. And they just supported me the whole way. So I would say, as far as a hero, without their support, I would be a hot mess. So for me, it'd be my parents.
Definitely agree. To give a professional answer as to an individual, I first read about Elon Musk when he had founded PayPal. And yeah, see, we got a couple Elon Musk fans. And I think what Elon Musk has shown me, and especially growing up in the time where he's been so creative and such a trendsetter and trailblazer, is he's had these crazy ideas. He's made all of this money with PayPal, even when he thought it was going to be successful. He's funneled it into different ideas, different ventures, and some have failed, some haven't worked, but he still kept going. So it just showed me that you can have that passion, you can have the drive for things, and if you fail, just find a way to get through it and keep going. So I would say he's definitely one of the most intellectual people that I look up to.
That's a good answer.
All right, Philip?
Well, definitely Willy Wonka. So, but seriously, as a kid, I read the book a number of times. I've seen the movies a million times. But other people. There's a guy named Junior Bridgman. He's at Louisville, but played in the NBA back in the 70s. This was actually before I was, but still, his story is it's probably one of the largest Wendy's and Chili's and all those franchises, and now he's the latest Coke distributor, Coke. And so, just guys that are doing, and women that are doing things that are just different, out there. So I have a lot of heroes, but honestly, my parents. That sounds kind of cliche, but my dad was a basketball coach for 38 years, and he probably kicked my butt more than anybody. And that he stopped teaching after 38 years. Now so some chocolates, he's the guy painting them. So, switch his career like that about kids. I guess that's what you would want to answer. But anyway, so my folks are my hero. And, like I said, folks like you that can inspire. Real quick, Zoe Baker asked me, what makes chocolates better than competitors? Since it's Jock Torres and For Elbow and some of the other folks, those are people that inspired me to get into chocolate. So this is along that. But what that's different, we're putting blue cheese in chocolate and barbecue with chocolate and, you name it. And so that's really where our formula composition and how we perceive taste through chocolate is what separates us our competition.
All right, thank you everyone for your questions. Let's give a round of applause to our speakers. Sarah, Mommer, Philip, we're gonna get a quick selfie, I think. Yep.
Okay, I've seen some Josephs in the room, by the way. Okay, so we're gonna make you guys take a selfie with us, so stand up. Yeah, let's see. All right, should we bend down? Are we gonna be able to?
I'll get behind you.
Okay, hey, you wanna get, oh, ready? Here it comes getting us. Ready,